Hi, Honors Chem people. Welcome back to lab. It's now the beginning of second semester. Here's lab 18 for you. Percent composition of water in a hydrate. So in this lab this week, what we're going to do is we're going to jump in, start right into our next unit without much background for most of you. And if you look at this lab, make sure that you do read in through here and through the introduction. Read this section in here to give you a sense of what we're going to be looking to measure, which is how much water is present in a hydrate. A hydrate is an ionic compound with a certain number, a specific number of water molecules bound in. An ionic compound with water molecules. So we can dehydrate things quite often if we heat them up, which is what we intend to do in this lab. And when you're done, you should end up with what we call an anhydrous product. I'll let you think about what anhydrous means once we are done. So please observe your safety concerns for this lab and bring with you something to tie back your hair. Not as big a deal for this lab because we're going to be using hot plates, but we certainly don't want to see any hair burned in this lab. You're going to be using an evaporating dish. Your steps for this lab are really straightforward, so I'm going to ask that you have read the procedure down through here. The one thing that's different that we haven't done in quite some time is that the lab is going to ask you to make a series of recordings, mass an empty evaporating dish, and record the mass in a data table. Well, if you look at the data section of your lab, it says draw an appropriate lab table, a data table. There is not one provided for you. So do make sure that you construct one that is easily readable and that includes 6 pieces of data. Now, I just highlighted the first one for you up here, but there are 6 times in the course of the procedure where you will need to record something, so make sure that it finds its way into a data table, which you will then include in your lab write-up. An evaporating dish. We have not used one of these, so it looks something like this. You'll have these available to you here in the lab. And the hydrate, just so you know, it looks like this when you get started. It probably won't be pieces quite as large as I'm going to select out just to show you, but just so you can kind of see this on your camera. It has a color to it that it will have before you put it through the procedure, and it'll have a different color after you put it through the procedure. So that can be part of your observation, but certainly when you finish the lab and you get down to step 9, make sure that this gets recorded here under any observations after adding water to the anhydrous product. I will tell you right now that's the place people most often forget to complete before they turn in their lab report. So with that, make sure you take a look at the rest of the steps through the lab before you enter lab this week, and we'll see you in lab.